All right, so Coop and I put together a Wu-Tang top 10. And for the people who are just now getting in the room, we wanted to do the top 10 Wu-Tang albums, counting the Wu-Tang albums and the Wu-Tang solo albums. And I put together a list, and Coop put together a list. Um, Here's the list. My list, I got Only Built for Cuban Links at number 1. I got Into the Wu-Tang at number 2. Supreme Clientele at 3. Liquid Swords at 4. Wu-Tang Forever at 5. Iron Man at 6. Return to the 36 Chambers at 7. The W at 8. Only Built for Cuban Links 2 at 9. And the Pillage at 10. Coop came in and did Only Built for Cuban Links at number 1. We got Into the Wu-Tang 36 at number 2. We got the same top 2. And then Liquid Swords at 3. Supreme Clientele at 4. Iron Man at 5. Wu-Tang Forever at 6. Only Built for Cuban Links at 2. Return to the 36 Chambers Dirty Version at 8. The W at 9. Tical. And Nigga Please at 10, right? You got them tied?
Yes,
Okay,
for
well,
different
I guess you
reasons.
know what? We could start there. We could start there
You
at...
want to start in reverse?
No, we could start there because I left Tical off. And you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm sure a lot of people are like, you know, where's Method Man? He didn't have an album represented on my top 10. And I really, really went back and listened to Tical and Tical 2000, trying to get Method Man a spot. But I listened to The Pillage and Tical, and I would be lying to myself if I said I enjoyed Tical more than I enjoyed Cappadonna's The Pillage. I think as far as Tical goes, I love the intro. I love Bring the Pain. I think Bring the Pain is by far the apex of that album. And nothing else on there really matched it. You're All That I Need. Unfortunately, the version that is one of the greatest hip hop hip hop records on there is not on there. I love With the Blood Clot. It's dope. Meth versus Chef was cool. But see, again, for me, Meth versus Chef revealed something. It revealed the fact that this is early on in the Wu-Tang solo releases. And when you put a Meth versus Chef up there with the O'Donna or something, it's like these guys just got better. And unfortunately, Tical was a moment where it sounded like they were, you know, obviously it came out right after 36 Chambers, months after it. So they didn't have a lot of time. And I've heard Method Man speak about the fact he didn't have a lot of time recording this project. And it sounds like it. And it sounds like a lot of the other projects that I got on my list, they were able to take more time on. They were better MCs. They were better artists. And they're just better projects altogether. So that's why I didn't have Tical on mine. Let me look at the list again. I want to, you know, kind of explain myself too. I mean, yeah, I couldn't put Tical over The Pillage. I couldn't put
So,
Tical over Only Built for Cuban Links 2. And I couldn't put it over the W. I just couldn't.
so I have a couple of comments about something that you spoke to. Understand when you're listening to The Pillage? Oh, that's after Wu-Tang Forever.
It is.
They've been out for almost 4 going on 5 years. The money's different. Therefore, the production and the engineering is different, and the progression as MCs is different. But what I'm going to submit to you is that Tical is actually a better timepiece than we thought. Because Tical, more than any of the other albums, is gritty the way Enter the Wu-Tang is because of the time that it comes out. And there are records on here. And I would also submit to you that Tical really suffers from the fact that these guys don't have money yet on the production and engineering side. And that's not at a fault to Meth. Enter the Wu-Tang comes out, what, December of 93, right?
November of 93.
November of 93? Okay, so Tical is coming out December of 94. So literally a year later, like Mike, they were still...
It came out November 15th, 94. So literally
Oh, it's November.
a year.
So literally
Yeah.
a year later. Mike, they were still releasing singles from Enter the Wu-Tang were still fucking playing.
No, definitely. I don't think Method Man got set up for success, but he didn't get set up in the way that
No,
Snoop
Mike.
Dogg got set up for.
His star personality and charisma
Yeah.
got him set up for success. He didn't get set up for success. And so you have to look at Tical really through a different lens. And Mike, these records on here are dope.
Well,
Tical,
hold on. To put a little bit of that in context, and I don't mean to cut you off,
no, go ahead.
let's look at Snoop Dogg, right? The Chronic came
Right.
out December of 92. Doggy
Right.
Style came out November of 93. Very similar situations here. Now, it's different
No, it's
because
not.
there's a whole crew
No, it's
and
not.
there's
Dr.
more.
Dre, Dr.
Dr.
Dre
Dre
is a professional, like 7, 8 years in the game when the
That's
Chronic
true.
is coming out.
That's
so
true.
the tutelage and the coaching and the organization and the structure is totally different because Dr. Dre is there and already knows the game in and out.
I give you that. Now go ahead with your other point. You're right.
Yeah.
But
so
I
it's
just
not
want to
the
put
same.
that
That's what
out
I'm
there
saying.
just in
You gotta
case somebody
understand,
brought that up. You know what I mean?
These are dudes from the projects in Staten Island. Like, they just blew up. People have to understand. First of all, Protect Your Neck was the first single. Like, you know what I'm saying? They didn't
Right.
start blowing up till Cream.
When was
Mike,
Cream officially released?
That's a good question. I
Let me
feel like
see.
that was the summer.
Let me see. I feel like
The
that was the
following
summer
year.
of 94, yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, I feel like that's the summer of '94 that we're hearing Cream. Maybe that spring.
Let me see. Cream was officially released as a single. Actually, it was January 31st, 94.
January 31st, '94.
Yep.
What's the order of the singles on Enter the Wu-Tang? Is fascinating because they did so many. Like, they did Shame on a Nigga, they did Chess Boxing, they did Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With, they did Cream.
Well, it was Protect Your Neck first. Then it was
Right.
Method Man second. Then it was Cream third. Then it was Can It Be also Simple fourth. And let's see. Yeah, those are the four singles.
Those are the official singles. So other
Yeah.
stuff was just B-sided with videos.
Right. Those are
Their
B-sides.
B-sides made videos, by the way.
Right. And so, yeah,
Right.
Can It Be Also Simple was February 22nd, 94. The B-side to that was Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With. The B-side to Cream was The Mysterious Chess Boxing. The B-side
We had that
to,
on vinyl.
The B-side to Method Man, was there a B-side to that?
No, B-side. Method Man was the B-side to Protect Your Neck, I
Okay.
thought. That's why
Okay. And then they ended up releasing, yeah, I think
the
you're right.
original version of Method Man was the B-side to
You're right.
Protect Your Neck.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the B-side to Protect Your Neck was Method Man. So, yeah.
Right. So they're running off of 6 songs in '94. For
Right.
one, as in they're touring, they're making their money. He's on the tour bus like he's talking about. But Mike, Tical's a great record. Biscuits is a dope record. Bring the Pain is an all-time great record.
Mhm.
What the Blood Clot is a dope record. Mike, I love Meth vs. Chef. And I want to tell you why. It was the first time that you really heard live competition within a group. And then you hear the stories about how these niggas literally used to rap each other for beats. And that's what I mean about it being a great timepiece. So let's dock the time right quick. So Meth vs. Chef in '94 is them fighting for beats. On the Duel of the Iron Mike in '95, it's talking about the demise of them because of the heights that they rose to at the end of the song. Part of stuff like that is an important timepiece. It takes you back to a simpler time when these dudes literally used to fight each other on wax for beats. That's hip hop.
I feel you. And you're taking
Release
it
your-
into a whole different arena. And you know
Release
what?
Your
With
Delph,
you being,
Mike. No, there are dope records on here. Release Your Delph is a dope record. Mr. Sandman is a dope record. The Method Man remix is a dope record. And so this album is doper than we thought that it was. The real problem with Tical was the albums that came after it.
yeah,
The Dirty Version, The Purple Tape, Liquid Swords, Iron Man.
I agree with that.
Wu-Tang Forever. That's some of the best rap shit you're gonna find, period. Like, damn, Wu-Tang Clan, like that's some of the best rap you're gonna find.
Well, with all that timepiece stuff that you were saying, which is, valid, why did you tie it with Nigga Please? Because Nigga Please is not a timepiece. And I'm
It
gonna
actually
say
is.
why
How many
I did.
albums? It actually is. How many albums did Old Dirty Bastard release?
You're right.
It's his timepiece. It's
it
the
is
Old
his
Dirty Bastard
timepiece.
timepiece. We only got 2 albums from him.
And I like Nigga Please. I think the only reason why I left it off the list is because the lack of involvement from the other Wu-Tang members. And
Yeah.
I'll say that same thing about the Pretty Tony LP, because the Pretty Tony LP, and I think, I said this at the beginning of the show, is actually my 3rd favorite Ghostface album. And Ghostface is my favorite MC. And I didn't even consider this album, probably because of the lack of Wu-Tang participation on that effort. So That's the reason why Nigga Please is not on my list. But
But that's
why did you put Nigga Please into Cal as a tie? Go back to
because
your list.
they're both great timepiece albums for those artists for different reasons. It's technically Dirty's last album. He only did two albums because of legal troubles, lifestyle that he chose to live. And those things, we only got two albums from him. This album is strikingly brilliant, and you see all the good, bad, and the ugly on Nigga Please. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see his candor, you see his candidness. Like, when he's talking about, I get the cocaine, it cleans out my sinuses. Like, you get the humor. Like, it's very Richard Pryor like in
It
terms
is.
of
Even the album
like
cover, which is one of my favorite album covers
it's
too,
one of
by
my
the way.
favorite album covers, Mike. I mean, and how about this? Name another rap artist that can cover Good Morning Heartache by Billie Holiday and cover Cold Blooded by Rick James on the same damn album
I'm with you on that.
with other songs titled I Want Pussy and Nigga Please on it.
You know, I
What?
listen.
With Chris
I got
Rock,
the Pillage at my 10.
with Chris Rock talking shit on your intro.
We're gonna start at 10 because I have the Pillage at
Mike,
10.
I'm not done yet. And production by the Neptunes and RZA on there. That album's great.
What I was gonna say is the fact
Nigga,
that
please.
what I was gonna say is the fact that you're making me rethink having the Pillage at 10. The Pillage is at 10 for me because I really feel like that was the last.
Wu-Tang.
That was the last dirty sounding Wu-Tang effort that we were getting. Like of that whole first round of the solo efforts, I think of that sound that we knew of from Liquid
Right.
Swords and all that. The Pillage is the last moment you get that, and for that reason, it is a timepiece.
But Mike, what I
But
would
you're
tell
right,
you is that
ODB's
it's not up
Nigga
to
Please.
par.
But what I was gonna say is Nigga Please is like that new window, right? Because when Raekwon dropped his sophomore album, was that before? I feel like Nigga Please was after that. So that was
Nigga,
before
please
Nigga
is
Please.
after. Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. Actually, a
Mobilarity.
mobilarity and Nigga Please is actually around the same time because I remember being a freshman in college and having both of those projects.
A Mobilarity was disappointing, right? And
Yeah.
Nigga Please was probably the first
It's brilliant.
successful Wu effort that wasn't like a Wu effort, right? So I will give Old Dirty's Nigga Please a moment for that too. So I feel like Pillage was the close, where Nigga Please was kind of like the open for that new door.
Okay, so Mike, I agree with you. The Pillage is a close, but what I would tell you is that it's not in a good way. It's not as strong as any of the efforts before it, including Tical, in my opinion.
Nah, man, Slang Editorial, The Pillage, Run. You got Old Donna, Milk This Cow. Man.
Those aren't
Nah.
better than the Method Man records that I just
Yes.
listed because you're putting Method Man up against Cappadonna. Kappa's not winning that.
I'm sorry. I think the
You're
only
not putting Tical and Bring the Pain up against those records. You're not putting
I think
Release
Bring the
Your
Pain
Delf.
is the only one I'll give you. I'll give you Bring the Pain, but yeah, Release Your Delf.
No,
Yes,
Mike, Tical, Release Your Delf. Biscuits.
O'Donna's better than Meth versus Chef.
What the blood clot?
Slang
You don't like what the blood clot,
Editorials.
Mike? You don't like what the blood clot?
I do, but I don't like it better than Milk This Cow. I
I
don't.
like Milk This Cow. Milk
Super
This Cow might be
Ninjas.
my favorite joint on there.
Super Ninjas, like nah. Slang Editorial's better than Tical. Like I said, I'll give you Bring the Pain.
Hold on, Slang Editorial is the one where he said, I came to the fork in the road and went straight. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That video is
it's better.
incredible,
Yeah, it's
man.
better.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, it's
And
better.
Black Boy was dope. So yeah, nah. I'm sorry.
No, you got a good argument. It's a drop off to me though, and he's just not meth on the mic to me. It's not as entertaining. It's not as charismatic. It's not a good of a timepiece.
I
because-
think that man, you are giving Method Man credence because of who he is over Cappadonna. I think Cappadonna's Pillage is a very
Because
very
he's a
dope
better
album.
MC than Cappadonna,
We're
and
not talking
Tical's
about
a
the
better
MC.
lyrical
talking
display
about the
than the
album.
Pillage.
We're talking about the album.
Hold on. Who's better as an MC on the album? Like Method Man on Tical or Cappadonna on the Pillage? Because the only thing that I feel like you have with the Pillage is that the production and the organization and the structure of the clan is what shows on the Pillage. Cappadonna, the MC's not fucking with meth on Tical.
Did you not hear Run? Run is
Run and
better.
Slang Editorial, Run and Slang Editorial are his finest moments, and those aren't better than Meth's finest moments as an MC on Tical.
Super Ninjas is crazy. Like I said,
I don't agree with you when you say Super Ninjas is crazy. It's dope. It's not crazy.
I don't know, man. I'll put it this way, and this was my telltale in the whole thing. I was listening to Tical, and then I put on the Pillage. Which album would I rather listen to? I'd rather listen to the Pillage.
Because it sounds cleaner, Mike. They got better engineers. They got money. The production's better. It's cleaner.
Well,
it's just cleaner.
It is what it is.
Late Registration sounds better than the College Dropout, and I prefer it. But the people that tell me they prefer the College Dropout, I understand why they're saying that. It don't sound as good. It's not as clean. It's not as crisp. But they're talking about the feel. They're talking about the vibe. They're talking about the MC. I get it.
You know what I found when I was listening to all these albums that, some of the ones that I haven't listened to in a while? I actually like more songs on Tical 2000 than I like on Tical. I just don't really like Tical like that. And I love
Tical 2000 is disorganized, Mike. I went and listened to it yesterday. I listened to it some of again today. It's too many skits. It's all over the place. The records are inherently dope, but what's the purpose? What's the message? Where he going? Tical got a Wu-Tang feel to it at least. It's on some Wu-Tang shit.
No, it does, but again, that feel got superseded by other efforts, and
also too, we need not Meth for RZA not being the epic producer that he was about to become, because Mike, Tical, production wise, then Return to the 36 Chambers, major step up.
Of course.
Mike,
and again, I said those things in the beginning.
Mike, to the Purple Tape, all-time great step up. And then in the Liquid Swords, Iron Man, Pillage, Wu-Tang Forever, it's like, oh, well, this dude got it.
We're saying the same things, Coop, but it sounds like you're giving Meth.
We just feel different.
You're giving Meth a pass for things that just weren't there.
You love Meth more than I do. I'm not giving Meth a pass. Tical's dope.
Yeah, I'm not even saying Meth a pass. You're giving Tical
I'd rather hear Method Man go Tical than hear Super Ninjas. Yeah, you damn right. You damn right.
You're giving Tical a pass because of where the group was at the moment. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It is what it is.
Tupac took he made a whole hook out of it.
You talk about Bring the Pain again. And again, I will concede to Bring the Pain. And you know what? Bring the Pain actually is a reflection.
The Village isn't far off from Tical. I'm just saying it's not the same. It's not the same time.
Bring the Pain is a reflection of where this album could be, but it wasn't. And that's just what it is, man. When you got a song that's just that much better than everything else on there.
No. You want to know what? The biggest problem with Tical is that Chef Raekwon's the only Wu-Tang member on the album. It needed some more Wu-Tang shit, because every other album that we're about to name is heavy on that Wu-Tang shit.
But again, I think Tical was that album that they put out there and was like, you know what? We need to do more of this and less of this.
It was the test dummy. Mike. I won't do it.
It was the test dummy.
I won't do it.
It was the test dummy, and I'm not going to sit. And it was very important in the fact that it showed them what was working and what wasn't. And like you said, big step up from that to Dirty's album. But you have to sometimes mess up a little bit to see where you need to go.
His mess up is comparable to the Pillage, and it's a better timepiece, and the heights of that album are better. That's what I'm saying.
You just don't like Cappadonna, man. You just don't like Cappadonna. I'm going to go to 2000 real quick, right? Judgment Day 2000, Tical 2000, Method Man's follow-up. I liked Dangerous Grounds. I thought was crazy. Sweet Love was dope.
It's not crazy. No. These are all dope records.
Dangerous Rounds was crazy, man. Meth was snapping on Meth was snapping on Dangerous Grounds.
Torture, he's snapping.
Torture is crazy.
Torture is crazy.
I like Retro Godfather.
Is crazy.
I like Retro Godfather.
Mike.
Spazzola, not so much.
No.
Retro Godfather had that, you know what I'm saying, that retro 80s, early 80s hip hop feel to it. That was cool. Party Crasher was dope.
Party Crasher's dope.
I like Killing Fields. Big Dog.
Killing Fields dope.
Big Dogs, Redman.
I don't love the beat.
Breakups to Makeups. See, you don't like Eric Sermon's beats. Yeah.
That's not true. It's just
Spence Overtone says, I'm cool on Release Your Death. I feel you, man. I'm not a big Release Your Death fan like that.
Nobody really asked either one of y'all. You know.
See, we see who's partial here. And see, you know what? I want people to go back and listen to the Pillage and listen to the Cal, and tell me what y'all think. Because
No,
and
Mike, put the post
Manifesto
up.
says he gonna go back and listen to the Pillage.
Put the post up, Mike.
Yeah,
Run the
yeah, yeah.
post.
Well, I mean, it's gonna
Let
be
me
a
tell you something,
popularity
Mike, Mike,
contest at
Mike,
that
Mike.
point.
I'm gonna tell you something. So, the last cat who did my tattoo is from up top. He actually grew up with Onyx. He's still tight with them.
Mm-hmm.
He lives up here on this side. The tattoo that I got on my chest, he did it. He actually put the Pillage on while he was doing my ink, and he was like, I was like, yo, I was like, I don't feel the Pillage, like, you know what I mean? He's like, nah, nigga. He's like, you gonna listen to this? And so he got me to listen. I was like, yo, fam, I'm like, you right. Like, I'm sleeping on the Pillage. So I'm like, I'm giving the Pillage's due, and it's right outside my top 10, but I can't put it in I can't put it ahead of Tical because at the end of the day, Mike, I'm an MC guy. I like lyrics and MCs.
Wait a
and
minute!
order.
Don't do Kappa like
No, no,
that.
no.
Kappa's stupid nice. Win
Cap it
awards.
stupid nice. And you're right, Mike. Is Kappa Method Man on the mic? Is Kappa Method Man on the mic?
I mean, it's different.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Not
You know what?
are
I'll
we
tell you
doing,
this.
What are you
I'll tell you
doing?
this. I'll tell you this. I prefer Kappa over Inspector Deck. Yes, unpopular opinion. I prefer Kappa over Inspector Deck. Yeah.
Mike,
Period.
we're already not getting invited to the Rock Nation
Period.
brunch, but now I don't want to go with you at all. I don't want to go with you at all. Like, if I go, it's going to be like, have you seen your boy Coop? No, no, no. He's over there talking to somebody else. I'm not going with you to the brunch if we do get invited.
Kappa is like Ghost, man. Like, I think the best combination.
Kappa is not like Ghost. What
he
are
is
you
like
saying?
Ghost. I think the best combination in Wu is when Kappa, Ray, and Ghost get together.
That's the purple tape doing that to you. That's the purple tape and Iron Man doing that to you.
No, I like.
And you might be
I
right,
love,
but Mike.
But you know what?
Mike,
I love when Kappa
Mike,
and Ghost
Mike,
get together.
do you know how many guys you could put next to Ray and Ghost, and they're gonna?
Kappa slide through with the Ghost, post up like paint on walls, drip 2 L's, bubble goose. Come on, man. Ruffle aside the bubble goose. It's the odd couples. Hollow Point, swallow you home, Staten Island.
Mike, since you want to get technical, that's the weakest verse on there, and he comes in a little off beat. It takes him about 6 bars before he even gets on beat. But since you want to get technical about this shit,
they
can put a lot
of dudes
next to Ray and Ghost, Mike.
You said what?
So you could put a lot of dudes next to Ray and Ghost.
Y'all killing me in the comments, man. Y'all acting like Winter War's verse wasn't crazy, man. Come on.
Winter War's, Mike. We about to talk about Iron Man. Like, this is what I'm saying.
And I ain't saying that. Listen, I ain't saying that Kappa's better than Inspector. But if you ask me, who I'd rather listen to as an individual, I'm listening to Kappa.
This is what I'm telling you. You'd rather listen to Kappa on Ray and Ghost albums. You ain't listening to Kappa over Inspector Deck.
I listened to the Pillage over what was it? What was
Uncontrolled Substance, Mike, and we're talking about outliers. Come on. It's ridiculous.
Where you got Uncontrolled Substance? So you think Uncontrolled Substance is better than the Pillage?
I didn't say that.
Okay. Well, there we go.
I said Deck's better than Kappa. And I'd rather listen to Deck than Kappa. I'd rather go through my Wu-Tang shit and listen to Deck than Kappa. Matter of fact, we about to get into it. Can we
okay, look, we've talked about Wu-Tang Forever. We're about to talk about Wu-Tang Forever. The MVP on Wu-Tang Forever could possibly be Deck.
Deck and Ghost. Deck and Ghost are the co-MVPs. Little Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal action.
I think Method Man's in the conversation too, but I think
he's
when
in third place, bronze medal.
When it comes to Wu-Tang efforts, I think we take him for granted.
No. In terms of overall Wu-Tang efforts, Method Man is the MVP, actually. But like on Enter the Wu-Tang, he's the MVP, actually. On Wu-Tang Forever, he's right after Deck and Ghost in a close third in that. On the W and Iron Flag, he's the MVP on those two. Ghost is the co-MVP probably on the W a little bit too. Just because when he does get on there, it's crazy.
Let's move on because we're on the W now. You got the W at 9. I'm not mad at that. I think I once have had the W at 9. I listened to the W the other day. Well, not the other day, yesterday. And I love Hollow Bones. I love Bang Bang. I love the jump off. Man, the W has some moments. And and Ghostface was fresh off of Supreme Clientele. Method Man was on his shit. I'm cool with the W being at 9. I got it at 8 though. I got it ahead of Only Built for Cuban Links 2. You have Only Built for Cuban Links a lot higher. But let's talk about the W though.
The W is their most underrated album of all the albums.
I want to talk about that. I agree. I was going to
In the
say something
Wu-Tang
like that.
saga, this is the underrated album. Mike, this album's some Wu-Tang shit.
You know why this album's underrated though?
Mike, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the whole build up from the album, and you have to understand what was going on at the time, and even with us going back listening to some of these albums, it kind of took me back to the time when they came out. Because I think you talked about it earlier, the fact that they were coming out with such heat consecutively, and the fact that Wu-Tang Forever was the last Wu-Tang album we had heard. And so, okay, boom, there's a standard there. And then Ghostface has dropped Supreme Clientele. These guys are individually getting better. Method Man's already done the Hard Knock Life tour. You got so much going. Raekwon was a heavy collaborator at the time. He had been on the Kumina. He had been on Tash's record. And so
he did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the Pillage had happened. You had Killer Army stuff. You had the Killer Bees collaboration, the Sting.
Sons of Man, Killer Priest,
all this stuff was going on. So, and then MTV did that Cribs where they all went out to that Los Angeles crib and they got back together for the first time in a long time and they were making the W. So the standard and the momentum was there. And I think when it came out, I know one of my first reactions to it was I was expecting more songs since we had 9 members, right? Because at the time ODB was locked up and Cappadonna was kind of taking that place, and so 13 songs in that era, kind of I was taken aback. Like, okay, if we're doing 13 songs, this shit's gonna be perfect. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't perfect, but it was a lot better than I gave it credit for when it first came out.
Mike, how would you rate this album?
This is an easy 4.
It's an easy 4. So, Mike, what I would
but back in the day, I would have said 3.5, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
But what I would tell you is that, Mike, it's an easy 4 and closer to 4.5 than you think. Mike, you talk about Hollow Bones. This is what I mean about it being some Wu-Tang shit. Careful, click, click, right before Hollow Bones.
Chamber music,
Mike. Red Bull, like, let's look at the guest appearances on here, Mike. Red Bull with Redman. Can I interest you in Red Bull with Redman?
Yeah, so you got Redman, Method Man, and Inspector Deck closing out the record. The production was there too.
Production was there, Mike. Yeah. Mike, to me, the biggest problem with this album actually was that they tried to redo "Protect Your Neck."
I actually like the jump off, but I agree with what you're saying.
I like the jump off. It's just not the original version.
Of course, nothing will be. Yeah.
But they're there, Mike. Let My Niggas Live with Nas. I Can't Go to Sleep. Ghost versed on there. Do your thing. Make Meth's hook. Mike, I keep trying to tell you, Mike, didn't Gravel Pit get played at that RZA DJ Premier Versus like I told you it was going to get played?
I didn't like Gravel Pit, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? Now, Mike, the One Blood.
That's low-key one of Meth's best verses. Holocaust from the Land of the Lost. Behold the Pale Horse, of course. Follow me, Wu-Tang gotta be the best thing since what? Since Starks and Clocks, Wallabies. Bzzz. Like, no, that's some of the best shit. I think Method Man
was the MVP of this album.
No, I told you, he's the MVP of this album too, Mike. And here's the beautiful thing about this album, and here's why it's sneaky great. Oh, it's only 13 songs like the first album. They're actually better when they're concise in this format. That's what they realized from everything that they went through. The W is them actually going back to basics of what they do as a group.
No, I agree. I think
MC Conditioner with Old Dirty Bastard and Snoop Dogg. Like, we're never getting that again, Mike.
I love that song.
That's a moment.
Yeah, I love that song. And I love that song more now than I did back then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
me too. Because when it came out, you're like, but when you listen to it now, it's like, damn, that's Old Dirty Bastard and Snoop vibing on a record together.
That's Snoop in 2000. Like, everybody has like a era, right? Especially when you got guys who have longevity in the game. Like we were just talking about LL and his longevity. You know what era you're hearing an LL verse if you just hear like that blanket verse. Snoop Dogg has that time period from like, what was it, 99 to 2000 when he rapped a certain way and he never rapped that way again. Like the
Yeah,
bitch please Snoop. That's
yeah.
the one
No,
you're
you're
getting
right.
on here. He
No, you're
never
right.
rapped like that again.
He got into like a little groove for about 2 or
Yeah.
3 years, Mike. You're right.
Yeah, that
Like,
Chronic 2001, the bitch
right.
please. Yeah,
Yep.
like he never
Bitch,
rapped like that
please.
again.
The last meal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's on
Mike,
that. Yeah.
One Blood Under Wu with Junior
I love that
Reed.
record.
Mike, listen to what every record that I'm saying. You're like, I love that record. I love that record. That's because this album's great.
I got it at number 8 on mine. You got it at
It's,
9.
and nobody talked about it being great. And you want to know why, Mike? Because it wasn't as good as Into the Wu-Tang. It wasn't good as Wu-Tang Forever.
It wasn't.
It wasn't better than the Purple Tape. It wasn't. You had so much classic stuff from theirs to go off of by the time they dropped this record in 2000. So I want you to understand, in 7 years, they had dropped so much classic stuff that some people actually thought this album wasn't good.
Yeah, I
That's
think
how
that.
strong they were.
But
That's
let's
how
look.
strong
Let's
their
look
rep
at it
was.
like this, though. Let's look at it like this, Coop. And to be honest, and I know time has been very kind to this album, but when you just see a track list and you're in Sam Goody or whatever in 2000, and you look on the back and you see Wu-Tang featuring Nas, what are your expectations of this record? And when you see Wu-Tang featuring Busta Rhymes, and we're talking about Busta Rhymes in 2000, who's rhyming,
Peak.
yeah,
Peak.
you're
Peak
like,
Busta.
oh, this is gonna be a classic record right here. And when you hear those two songs, they're good songs, but they're underwhelming based on where you're at in that time period. You know what I'm saying?
So
And
this
so
is
I
what
think
I'm
that's
saying,
what
though.
the W
It's
suffers
not that
from.
those songs aren't great. The stuff that they had made up to that point
Yeah.
was all time great.
No,
Like
you're
the
right.
last time you heard Nas on some Wu-Tang shit, it was verbal intercourse. That's
Exactly.
not a fair comparison.
It
What kind
ain't
of
fair.
comparison are you making?
It
What's
ain't fair,
wrong?
but it is what it is, man.
Man,
That's what
he
happens when
say?
you get critical, man. When you have
What he
great,
say? Nas was talking about dope fiends with elephant hands.
I feel you, man. But if we're
The
sitting
only
here,
nigga Sade dated, like, no, he's on there. It's just not verbal intercourse. Verbal intercourse might be the best verse ever, Mike. It's not a fair comparison. Enter the Wu-Tang is obvious. It might be the most innovative rap album ever. The Purple Tape might be the best rap album ever. It's an unfair comparison when this album came out. So you really couldn't appreciate this work properly. Because if you're telling me in 2000 you have a track that has Nas, Raekwon, and Inspector Deck on it, I'm going to tell you it's going to be great. And that song's great. It's just not as great as the stuff that they did before, because the stuff they did before was some of the best shit you ever heard.
Coop is really passionate about this debate, y'all. So I'm gonna
love
get some
Wu-Tang.
words. I'm gonna get some words in. We both love Wu-Tang, so we're gonna be going back and forth.
It's not fair. I love this album.
It's like comparing, the '96 Bulls team to maybe the '91 one, right? It's not fair to compare anything to that '96 Bulls team. But when you have the same personnel and the same personnel's coming back together 3 years later, let's say the '98 team, you're going to hold them to similar standards. It's just natural. And it's unfair, but it's just natural. But speaking of which, and I want to go into this album, because you had it very high. I had it at 9. Only built for Cuban Linx 2. I'm against sequels.
How high did I have it? I
You
had
got
it at
7.
Yeah.
I think that's high for something that came out in the 2010s. Nearly, and we're talking. Look at when all the other ones came out.
Have you heard the album?
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I got it at 9 though. I think the Wu-Tang
House of Flying Daggers?
Yeah, I love House of Flying Daggers. I love 10 Bricks.
Broken Safety, 10 Bricks,
Insane.
Catalina.
I give it a lot of points for the fact that it was able to follow up the album that got number 1 on my list.
Dr. Dre, Busta Rhymes, and Raekwon.
And Jay Dilla. Jay Dilla, after his passing,
Jay
dropped some
Dilla,
of the
thoughts
most
on there, Mike? Masters of...
Yeah, he dropped some of the most impressive shit on there.
Right. It's got some of everything on there. You know what I like? Like in Ray's in his bag, too. You want to know why I like it? It's because he's in his bag doing all types of different stuff, like Pyrex Visions. Like when he's just flowing in that low mumble with the gravel voice and stuff, like he's doing stuff on there. I love the Purple Tape too. Yeah, I got it at 7.
Well, you got it above the Return to 36 Chambers. I think that's where I disagree.
Okay, so I think that the records are put together better on the Purple Tape too than Return to the 36 Chambers, and that's the only separation to me. Because I feel
So
like the high moments on Return to the 36 Chambers are better, but not put together as well. Like, you're not going to tell me that, yeah, he got 2 Dre beats on there and he smashed both of them.
so you're giving that credence in that situation, but not Cappadonna in the Tical situation. Okay.
No. It's
Noted.
way better put together. It's way better put together, Mike.
You
It's
think
way better.
so? I think
Yeah.
that the
No,
30s.
no, no.
I think Old
Like, here's the
Dirty's
thing. Here's what you're gonna
debut
get
was
with an
put
Old
together
Dirty
very
Bastard
well.
album, Mike. You're gonna get Old Dirty Bastard ranting and raving a lot. So it's gonna be a little disheveled. You know what I'm saying? It's brilliant though. Like, the highs are high. Hippa to the Hopper, Raw Hide, Brooklyn Zoo, Baby Come On.
Listen,
Mike, you
I'm gonna
might
tell
have a
you like
point.
you told
Mike,
me.
you want to know what? Mike, now that I'm listing those
Yeah,
records out of my head, you might have a point.
I was just
I
about
might
to
be
say,
wrong.
I'm gonna tell you like you told me with the Supreme Clientele and Into the 36. It ain't no Brooklyn Zoo on Only Built for Cuban Links 2.
You want to know what, Mike? I'm gonna call it live. You're right. I might need to flip those.
Yeah, it ain't no Brooklyn Zoo. It ain't no Shimmy Shimmy. It's not.
Ain't no Baby Come On, Hippa to the Hopper, Raw Hide. Like, those records alone are probably better than almost all the records on the Purple Tape too.
I love that album though. Again, I'm
I
partial
love
to
it.
that record. You know what? One of my favorite songs on there is Don't You Know?
I like Snakes.
Snakes is crazy too. Yeah, the Protect Your Neck to the Zoo. Those guys were spazzing on there.
Jizza wrote a lot of that shit.
Yeah, man, incredible. Oh yeah, the song with Jizza, Damage is hard. Damage is hard.
That's all Jizza.
Cause again, man, when you talk about Old Dirty's debut album, I ain't never heard nothing like it, man, and I haven't heard nothing like it since.
I haven't heard anything like Brooklyn Zoo since Brooklyn Zoo came out, Mike. I told you it's
Yeah.
still the best solo rap record to come out of that crew.
Wow.
Brooklyn Zoo is the best rap record to come out of that crew as a solo. Like, if we're just going song for song, I know, like, I'll Be There For You is a bigger song. Bring the Pain and Incarcerated Scarfaces and All That I Got Is You are comparable. But Brooklyn Zoo, yeah, Mike, Brooklyn Zoo is the best solo performance by a Wu-Tang artist on the mic. You can't fuck with Brooklyn Zoo. Can't nobody fuck with Brooklyn Zoo.
Listen,
He got you
I'm
on style alone, Mike, and he's actually rhyming. Like, he got you on style off rip, and he's rhyming.
I'm not mad at that. Hold on. Let me think about this, because I think some of the strongest solo records with nobody on them, because we're not going to count Ice Cream. That's kind of a posse cut, right? I would say Incarcerated Scarfaces in no particular order. Bring the Pain, Brooklyn Zoo. I think Shimmy Shimmy's in that conversation too.
I mean, Mike, for me, it goes Brooklyn Zoo, Bring the Pain, Incarcerated Scarfaces, All That I Got Is You, and Shimmy Shimmy Ya.
Raw Hide is crazy, man.
Raw Hide is crazy, Mike. Like, I heard once that was a freestyle.
Yeah, I heard that. You know, Method Man's verse on there is sick, man. Yeah.
Coming soon to a theater near you would be the Wu. Right?
I even like the stomp. Yeah. Like, this thing hits you.
I like Ray verse on there, actually.
This shit hits you straight up. Like, it's like Shimmy Shimmy, then Baby Come On, then Brooklyn Zoo, then Hippa to the Hopper, then Raw Hide, then Damage, then Don't You Know, then the Stomp. And it's like, damn.
The Stomp is the shit, Mike. The Stomp. You're right, Mike. That's better than the Purple Tape 2. I was wrong.
I was going to say this, man, and you know me, I'm a Ghostface guy. My biggest debate, and because I put Iron Man at 6 and Return to 36 at 7. My biggest thing was, man, I personally like Old Dirty's album better than I like Iron Man, but I think on paper it's hard for me to put it ahead of it. But if you if you put both of those albums right there and you tell me which one should I listen to first, or which one I'm going to listen to first, I'm listening to Dirty's joint first.
Mike, I totally don't agree. I have Iron Man up high. Actually, I was surprised because I knew we were about to have the Liquid Swords, probably Supreme Clientele separation. But I was surprised where you put Iron Man, actually, because I have Iron Man higher than you, and you're a bigger Ghost fan than I am. And not too many people can say that to me.
One thing I will say about Iron Man, I feel like Raekwon was a better rapper at the time than Ghost was.
He was. Give me 2 seconds, Mike. I got to go catch the door right quick.
No, do your thing. What do y'all think in there, man? Do y'all think in the room that Iron Man's better than Wu-Tang Forever? Because we're about to really get into this part of it, because this is the top 5. what is your favorite Wu-Tang album? What is your top 5 Wu-Tang albums? And like, whose list do you agree with a little bit more than the other? You get some of these comments too. Donnelly says that last comment be true about taking meth for granted. I might fall in that. People have been killing meth off of. I'm sorry. People have been killing me for my meth hate. Gotcha. Yeah. I think that we've been unfair to meth throughout his career, and he's been having to deal with the comparisons within his own group. And I think that Tical being first was a gift and a curse because everybody was waiting for Method Man as a solo MC because of the Method Man song and how big it was. But I think they rushed his project, and everything that came after that, he's been having to live up to that unfairly. Jacob Six says Iron Man is better than Wu-Tang Forever. Well, that's what Coop got on his list. I think Wu-Tang Forever is just super lyrical. We're going to get into that comparison. One of the things with Wu-Tang Forever is the fact it's a double disc. And it suffered from the fact that some of those records that were on there might not have should have been on there. And, you know, we deal with that in double disc period. But we did a show a couple of months back where we actually made Wu-Tang Forever one disc. We took the best, 14, 15 songs, and we made it one disc. 15. So Jacob Six said Iron Man is better than Wu-Tang Forever.
I have Iron Man ahead of Wu-Tang Forever by one slot. I agree.
Why do you think that Iron Man is better than Wu-Tang Forever? I'll make my case for Wu-Tang Forever, but go ahead. I want to hear yours.
Okay, so the beats are better. That's the first thing that you need to realize. Iron Man is actually the most eclectic beat selection from RZA's catalog. It's actually RZA has already mastered the Wu-Tang thing and has learned how to incorporate like the soul samples, Mike. This is where the soul sampling stuff like really starts. Before they're sampling different stuff, this is where RZA's sampling game changes. And so the beat structure is more eclectic. It's more surprising. It's more off kilter, but in more of a funky way than in a deep, dark, and eerie way. Like I told you, Iron Maiden, the start off the Iron Man, that's one of RZA's best beats. That's one of the best Wu-Tang tracks. That's where I want to hear Cappadonna. Cappadonna on Iron Man is amazing. Raekwon on Iron Man, amazing. Ghost on Iron Man, amazing. The Wu members, amazing. There's Wu-Tang shit on there. There's Ghostface shit on there. There's Purple Tape shit on there. It's a beautiful, beautiful project.
You might have sold me. Because just how I sold you on the Old Dirty thing, man. You might have sold me.
No, you were right about Old Dirty. I started thinking about those first 7, 8 songs, and I was like, yeah, the Purple Tape. I was like, no, I was wrong.
You know, my thing for Wu-Tang Forever, and I think what's blaring with Wu-Tang Forever for me, is the fact that all of them are at their best individually as MCs in that moment in 1997 as a collective.
That's the problem.
Man, as incredible as Method Man was on the first one, he got that much better, and he was there in 97 at the top of his abilities.
No, that's the problem, Mike. That's what I'm telling you. The problem actually in 1997 with Wu-Tang Forever is these guys have become too great to fit in one room or one track to get the same effect and feeling of the first album. Because by 1997, all of these guys are top-notch great. Method Man, Raekwon, Ghostface, Inspector Deck, Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard, had he really been there. All of these guys are not just like, they're not
wasn't there?
MCs. Huh?
Old Dirty wasn't there?
Not really. I mean, he's on Reunited and he's on Dog Shit and that's it. But when he's there, he's epic.
No, I think he was he was on Maria. Like, I feel like he was
right.
A part
he was
of the
there
album.
A little bit, but that's what I'm saying. So, Mike, you got six AMCs.
And you know what? I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to go backwards, but that was one of the big things about the W for me. Old Dirty was missing, and it was clear. And you know what I'm saying? Like, Old Dirty's kind of like one of those members. Not only is he a contributing member, but he's like the spirit of the group. And it felt like something big was missing. Just his big spirit was missing on the W.
Mike, the antics, the entertainment, what you hear on Dog Shit, what you hear on Shame on a Nigga, what you hear on Chess Boxing, that's missing.
Yeah. But yeah, Wu-Tang Forever for me was a really, really strong effort because it was It was the fact
It
that
is.
all of these guys are at the apex of their skills. And I know we were talking about top groups of all time a couple episodes ago,
They're too
and
skilled, Mike.
there's
They're
no
too
group
skilled.
in the history of hip hop that you could sit there and say matches up with those 10 guys that were on Wu-Tang Forever in 97.
No,
And I think
ever.
that's one of the biggest things for me and why I hold that album so high, because you could be listening to some records that you normally don't listen to on there and be like, yo, this is an incredible verse. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so many
Mike,
dope verses in that album that are just tucked away because everybody in the group is so strong.
Mike, you could go get your 10 greatest MCs and tell them they can pick two songs and then go get Wu-Tang to do a verses, and every member gets to pick two songs, and it's a fair fight. That's how great they are.
It's insane, man. And you know what? I know somebody said one time, like, if you put Wu Tang like in the southern region, like who's the top five MCs in the South or something. But you could do that for any borough of New York. Like
Mike,
you put
if you
this
put these
group
dudes anywhere, they shaking everything up.
everything. You can put them in California. You can put them in Texas. You can
It
put
don't
them
matter.
in New
When you put
York.
these, put them in Canada, Antarctica,
No,
France,
it's insane.
the
Because again, for
Philippines,
me,
Trinidad and Tobago.
with Wu Tang Forever, I'm thinking Triumph, right? I'm thinking Impossible. I'm thinking Heaters. I'm
Hmm.
thinking Bells of War. I'm thinking MGM. I'm thinking
No,
Dog
look,
Shit. I'm thinking, you know, it's
it's not.
just so much. Hell's
It's so
Winstack.
much because they're so great and so big, Mike. There's not enough room for them in a room. They gotten to the point that they were all so great that their project sounds better when it's concise down to a solo artist album with contributions. Because the albums that came before Wu-Tang Forever, in my opinion, just come off better, specifically the Purple Tape, Liquid Swords, Iron Man, in that order. And we can say Return to the 36 Chambers to a degree, because I consider that album, I considered Wu-Tang Forever, the Purple Tape 2, and Return to the 36 Chambers to all be kind of comparable or in the same realm of how I had them rated.
Wu Tang Forever is just tough to judge all around. And I think that I probably gave it a little bit more props than, you know, some of the efforts because actually did it. You know what I'm saying? They actually were able to make this album in 97 when everybody was at the peak of their talents, and they actually were able to come away with some very incredible records
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
time period. Because, like you said, that's difficult to do. Now, you want to talk about a degree of difficulty. Getting 10 MCs that have their own individual things going on and who have elevated their own individual skill sets to this point to come
and
together
finances,
and
and
finance
finances.
to come together and make this album. I got to give Raekwon some props too when it comes to you know, his role in Wu Tang Forever. He always felt like the glue guy to me. Like, he's everywhere. He's
You
on like
know,
damn near every song.
when I heard a mobilarity, I felt like maybe he gave too much of himself to Iron Man and to Wu-Tang Forever.
Mm. I never thought of it like that, but you might be right. Yeah, Heaven's
Hmm.
Sake, Reunited, Cash Still Rules, Visions, as high
No,
as
it's
Wu Tang
there. I don't
gets,
consider it. Can we
Older
talk about Iron
Gods.
Man right quick?
Let's talk about Iron Man.
This is the most underrated classic in the catalog to me. It's strikingly great. There's not a bad song on here. It plays all the way through. It's not as good as the Purple Tape or Liquid Swords. The songs are not as great, but they're damn close, Mike.
You got
Iron
Iron
Maiden,
Man at
Fish,
six. You got
Box in
Iron Man at
Hand,
5.
huh?
You got Iron Man at 5. I got Iron
I
Man
got
at
Iron Man at
6.
5. Mike,
Okay.
I still, if I'm not mistaken, I still know the order. It goes Iron Maiden, Wildflower, Faster Blade, Assassination Day. No, I'm sorry, 260, Assassination Day, Poisonous Darts, Winter
Mm.
Wars, Box in Hand, Fish, Cam
Uh,
A, Daytona 500.
yeah, boxing
Yeah,
hand. You know what? You won
yeah,
me
that
over.
Meth verse
I'm
on
putting
Box in
this.
Hand, Meth verse on Box in Hand is crazy. His
Yeah,
delivery on there is
it
bananas.
is. You know what? You won me over, man. I'm putting Iron
Marvel,
Man.
after the smoke is
Yeah,
clear,
yeah, yeah. I think you won me over, man. I'm putting Iron Man above Wu Tang Forever.
it's better,
I'm
Mike.
tripping.
It's
I'm
better. It's
tripping.
beginning to end strong.
All right, well,
This is
this is
the
the one what you said we were going to have a debate about because our top two are the same. Liquid Swords or Supreme Clientele? I got Supreme Clientele at 3. You got Liquid Swords at 3. I got Liquid Swords at 4. You got Supreme Clientele at 4. Um,
so
this is
Mike.
Go ahead. I'll let you start off.
Supreme Clientele is Ghost's best lyrical performance and one of the best lyrical performances in hip hop history, isn't it?
Yes, to me it is. I never heard. I haven't heard a lot of things like it. It's one of those rare zones.
What if I told you that I feel the same way about Liquid Swords, except the execution level is actually slightly better, and it's because of the Wu-Tang shit?
I would think
Right.
that's more of a style choice.
No, I don't know if it's a style choice. I think it's actually a song choice because when you put these albums side by side, I find them to be strikingly comparable in terms of how great the songs are, except for one thing. The Clan comes off better on Liquid Swords, and GZA is lyrically in a place on an album. And here's what I mean lyrically about Liquid Swords. That album lyrically from GZA as an MC, only Nas or Rakim can probably write those rhymes, Mike. That detailed on that level. It's that high a level of lyricism. It's probably the finest lyrical performance from an MC that I've heard lyrically on one project outside of Nas's first 2 albums and Rakim's first 2 albums. That's how high lyrically the GZA is on Liquid Swords. And he got the bars to prove it. And the Wu-Tang songs on there, Mike, like all the Wu-Tang songs on there would make their greatest hits. Duel of the Iron Mike, Fourth Chamber, Shadowboxing, Investigative Reports. Mike, those are Enter the Wu-Tang level records, if not better.
The Purple Tape came out before Liquid Swords, right?
Right before.
Right
like
before.
4 months before.
Even with that being said, I will say this about Liquid Swords. I think that based on what solo efforts came out before it, this had to be more challenging because everything was it was a different energy, right? Like GZA's been a lot, he's always been like the member of the Wu that's a lot more cerebral and, who it wasn't about like super hyped energy. You're not going to have like an ice cream on there. You're not going to have like an incarcerated Scarfaces on there. He's going to sit back and you're going to sit here and have to analyze what's going on and what's being said. So on a production level, this had to take RZA in a whole different chamber. And that's one of the things I really loved about the Wu-Tang solo efforts too, where it was like you had Method Man and Old Dirty in a similar chamber, right? Sonically. You had Ghost and Ray doing what they're doing sonically in a different chamber. Shit, RZA was doing something different, like, with Tragedy and things like that. And then GZA was kind of sitting on this island alone, like you said, kind of like on some Rakim shit. And this came across super impressive in the way that it was supposed to come across.
So let me tell you what's beautiful about this album. You can see the respect that the rest of the clan has for GZA.
Definitely.
As a lyricist on this album, because, Mike, the Purple Tape is the showcase. Liquid Swords is the validity to what they did on the Purple Tape. Like, this is not a fluke. How these guys rhyme, what these guys do, it's at a high level. So here's what I'll tell you, Mike. Deck's best guest verse on a Wu-Tang album is the verse on Guillotine from the Purple Tape.
Yes.
But Mike, his second best guest verse is on Duel of the Iron Mike.
That's what I do like about those 2 albums. Everybody came with their A game. And honestly, arguably, Method Man's best feature comes.
No, we about to get to it. No, we about to run down all the clan members on there. Because on Duel of the Iron Mike, you got Old Dirty Bastard on a hook anywhere on any other Wu-Tang solo album?
No, that's real.
That's Duel of the Iron Mike. Master Killer's best verse is Glaciers of Ice. Guess what his second best verse is, Mike? We on the same record. It's on Duel of the Iron Mike. They're still in that zone. It's almost at the same high level that the Purple Tape is. I have the Purple Tape as the 3rd greatest rap album ever. Liquid Swords isn't far behind. Mike, Ghostface Coming Out Party is on Fourth Chamber.
It is. Shit,
Best
RZA.
Ghostface coming out party is on Fourth Chamber, Mike.
RZA's coming out party
RZA's
might.
coming out part. Mike, stop taking the words out of my mouth.
Well, I was
RZA's
gonna
coming out
say,
party.
I don't know, because he did his
No,
thing on the
that's his
purple
verse,
tape
Mike.
too.
That's RZA's best verse on a Wu-Tang project.
Yeah,
The ending with the acronym protons, electrons always cause explosions. Like, yeah,
I love that record, man. And you're
Mike,
right. The beat on Fourth Chamber,
crazy, Mike. That's off Enter the Wu-Tang. You could put Fourth Chamber on Enter the Wu-Tang and not miss a step.
I wish it was on Into the Wu-Tang.
Mike, let's go ahead and go to it right quick. Mike, shadowboxing. Mike, shadowboxing is lyrically one of the best performances of all time. Period. Verse after verse. Meth's 2 verses and Jizza's verse. People forget Jizza's verse because Meth's so all-time great.
Jizza's verse is
spazzed
crazy on there.
I slayed MCs back in the Rec Room era. My style broke motherfucking backs like him for terror. Most rap niggas came loud but unheard. Once they fall out, round them off to the nearest third. Check these non-visual niggas with tapes in a portrait. Flood the seminar trying to orbit this corporate industry. For what them niggas can't see must break through like the Wu unexpectedly. Protect your neck, my sword still remains imperial. Before I blast the mic, RZA, scratch off the cereal. We rain all day from June to June, while niggas bite immediately, if not soon. Set the lynching and form the execution date as it's 2000 and beyond. Slang suffocate, amplified sample from vacuum tubes, compression, cause RZA. They charge niggas 20 G's a session.
My mind started clicking.
Mike, that's right the third best verse on that song.
That's crazy.
That's the third best verse on that song, Mike. That's rap verse of the year type shit.
It is. That's a quotable, straight up. Midget Mike said Method Man got a quotable on that. He did.
Yeah,
what was
Mike,
it? The first verse or
Mike,
the second verse?
My whole grown-up hashtag is you know my steez. It comes from that verse. You know my steez. The one Gangstar made a song out of?
Yeah, Burning to the Third Degree. Sneaky Ass, Alley Cat, Top Pedigree, The Head Toucher. Which verse was it that got the quotable? Was it the last one?
The first verse. No, the first verse is the one. I breaks it down to the bone gristle. Nobody had ever talked like that before, Mike. I breaks it down to the bone gristle. Ill-speaking scud missile, heat sinking. Johnny blazing.
Nightmares like Wes Craven. Niggas gunning. My third eye seen it coming before it happened.
Mike, and that's where he switched his flow. You know about them fucking statin kids, they smashing everything, in every shape, form, or fashion.
Everybody talking about they blasting. Issue wasn't still an issue flash. Talking out your asshole. You should have heard about the flow of PC Afro, the Italian Stallion, Chinky Eyes, Snot Nose. From my naps to the bunion on my big toe. Keeps it moving.
Ooh, know just what the fuck I'm doing.
Rap insomniac, meaning to catch a nigga snoozing. Slip the cardiac, arrest me. Exorcist, hip-hop, possess me. Crunch a nigga like a nest.
Mike, he's got 4 or 5 different styles on that one verse. It's
Listen,
crazy.
Man.
Nobody ever rapped like that.
That is why Tical and Tical 2000 is underwhelming. Unfortunately, I love
it's a year, Mike. This is literally a year after Tical came out. He's much better too.
Oh yeah.
You hear him, Mike. The purple tape, Mike. The purple tape and Liquid Swords. And I wanted to talk about this briefly. And let's go here for Method Man because Method Man is doing the back and forth and the ad libs on Living in the World Today. The purple tape and Liquid Swords are not what they are without Method Man.
Nah, man. Method Man is, again, I think he is he's an unsung hero in the Wu. I mean, it's obvious.
He's the guest star MVP of both of those albums. Those are 2 of the greatest rap albums ever, and the guest star MVP on both of those albums is actually Meth. Even over Nas on the purple tape, because even though that verse is better, he gave us 2 hooks and a verse on the purple tape, and it was all epic.
He gave us the ice cream hook, so yeah.
He gave us ice cream. The Wu Gambino's hook too, Mike, and the verse on Wu Gambino's to set it off. He set that whole song off.
The Wu Gambino's verse is the truth, man.
Wu Gambino's is one of the best Wu-Tang songs ever, Mike. That's some Enter the Wu-Tang shit.
Yeah, man. Let's do this Method Man and Busta Rhymes things. Niggas want to talk shit, man. This guy, all these classic Wu efforts, and it's unfortunate that he wasn't the recipient, personally for his solo catalog. But yeah, you're right. He's kind of the glue of all of these Wu-Tang solo efforts.
Mike, Raw High on Return to the 36 Chambers. He's there. I
think Old Dirty was the only one who didn't need him in that capacity because Old Dirty was flashy enough. But the rest of those guys needed a little bit
Mike,
of Method Man on their project.
no, like living in the world today is not the same with that back and forth with Meth on the hook. Well, what you know about him seeing? Yo, I know a lot. Well, can you tell me straight something, nigga? I'd rather not. You talking about stacks, cause nigga, that's what I got. Cash rules abroad, and cash rules the spot. Yeah,
Well,
like that shit important.
I want to get back to this whole Supreme Clientele and Liquid Swords thing. I mean, because there's not a lot of
I'm not.
selling.
I'm not done yet because this is how
Go
great
for it.
Liquid Swords is. Because we're
Go
not done with
for
the
it.
Wu-Tang shit yet, Mike.
Go for it.
You God's best performance outside of Knuckleheads on the Purple Tape is, guess what? His hook on investigative reports on Liquid Swords. Mike, Ray and Ghost on investigative reports. Killer Priest on basic instructions before leaving Earth, Mike. And that's not to bring up the most unheralded part of this album, Mike, which is one of RZA's best beats and one of the best stories of all time, which is Killer Hills 10304, Mike. It's one of the best rap stories ever. Mike, when you talk about detail-oriented rap stories, only Nas can write that story outside of GZA. That's how detail-oriented that is. And he talks about the game from the highest level. Like, he broke that shit all the way down. He started from the street with the story and took you all the way to the top of the drug game with the story. So he actually like literally wrote it, the climax you, and take you through the stages of the ladder.
Listen, I love Liquid Swords, and I want to be clear. I think Liquid Swords is one of the greatest hip hop albums ever made. Top 20 easily to me, and that's without even thinking it might be higher than that.
So Mike, you just took one of my thoughts away. Their top 4 albums are 4 of the 20 greatest rap albums ever to me, because Supreme Clientele is a top 20 rap album to me too. I just have it slightly behind Liquid Swords. It would be like putting one at 16 and putting one at 19.
If you ask me what's the best hip hop album of the 2000s, I think that I would say Supreme Clientele. Supreme Clientele came out.
I don't know if I would argue with you, Mike. I mean, maybe Hit Rich or Die Trying comes to mind.
It's better than that. Supreme Clientele came out February.
Song for song, it probably is, Mike. Because here's the thing that I noticed too. Because I lined up Supreme Clientele and Liquid Swords, because Liquid Swords is straight 13 tracks, no filler, which is part of why I love it, no skits. Mm-hmm. But you take the skits out of Supreme Clientele, it's 15 songs, and all 15 songs are stupid.
But I like all the skits too. I think that was another thing. Like, you know, during the time period when people did a lot of skits. The only skit I didn't love was the Clyde Smith skit, you know, but I get that. I understand.
I didn't like the Who Would You Fuck skit. They could have skipped that.
You know, I think it was going along with the theme.
It was context to the Child's Play song. I get it. They could have framed it different.
Yeah. It was going along with that theme, and I love that. So with Child's Play coming next, that was perfect. I love the Woodrow skit. You know what I'm saying?
I don't love it.
You didn't like the Woodrow skit?
I don't love the skits on Supreme Clientele. It's actually my biggest problem with it. When you line it up song for song, it's hard to find 15 better records than what's on Supreme Clientele.
The Woodrow
like there aren't too many albums with 15 songs on them better than Supreme Clientele.
I feel like you know, we're gonna get into the songs in a second. It's just the lyrical, you know, how amazing.
It's not lyrically better than GZA though, and that was my separating point though. Picture Bloodbath and Elevator Shafts.
Ooh, I don't know, man.
Square veterans mark the lettering. Slow moving MCs is waiting for the editing. A liquid swallowable that could burn down the chemistry. I'm sorry, a liquid soluble that made up the ministry, a gaseous element that burnt down your ministry. Herbal vapors and biblical paper, smoking exodus. Yeah, he's somewhere else, Mike. Man. No, like I love Ghost. He's not fucking with GZA on Liquid
Crash
Swords,
through, break the glass. Tony with the Goldie mask. That's the past. Heavy ice. Rolly laying on the glass. Come on, man.
No, it's Mike. The way labels, that Mike. Tommy ain't my motherfucking boy. When you fake moves on a nigga you employ, Mike, he put the whole label game together.
Mike, it's not. But when you're talking about like building, and I know you brought up Rakim's name. The only time I've ever heard anybody really building from lyric to lyric and you break things down is how Ghost is rapping on Supreme Clientele.
No, Mike, GZA doing the same thing on Liquid Swords. He's just doing it on a more lyrical level. Ghost is doing it's like this. It's like you got a painter who paints in the classic way, and then you have a painter who paints in the abstract way. And Liquid Swords and Supreme Clientele is really about which stroke you prefer, the brush.
I mean, Ghost is clearly more abstract.
Right, and GZA is clearly more rooted in the fundamentals of hip-hop and MCing.
Both hands crusty, chilling with my man Rusty, low down, blew off the burner, kinda dusty. The world can't touch ghosts, purple tape, Ray Coho. Come on, man, like it's so much in there, like
Mike, restaurants on a stakeout. Restaurants at the steakhouse, so order the food to takehouse. Chaos outside the Spark Steakhouse. Maintain the power. I feel the deal's gone sour. Nigga missed the wedding. Late a fucking half hour. And this man who bought land from Tony Starks while we is contracting bricks, laying jobs in city parks. He's a loan shark. Come on, man.
I mean, no, I mean, I feel you, but
Come
Ghost
on, he's building. Isn't that building the rhyme?
He's building, man, but Ghost took that thing to the next level, man. Like, you listen to things for, like, We Made It. When he came through on We Made It.
I love We Made It. We Made It might be my favorite record on Supreme Clientele.
Yo,
that's one of my top 3 records on Supreme Clientele. Mike, you want to know what? I hate to fight you like this, but I'm going to bring up the singles on Liquid Swords versus Supreme Clientele because I figured you were going to do this. So the singles on Supreme Clientele were Apollo Kids and Shay Shayla Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I got Liquid Swords, Cold World, and Fourth Chamber Shadow Boxing. No, Mike.
Shay Shayla Ghost is a bigger record than all of those.
It's bigger. It's not better than any of those Jizza records I just named, though, and you know it.
It's not.
And Apollo Kids isn't either.
I like Apollo
Actually, Mike,
and it's
Mike,
interesting because I think, to me...
Can I talk about something right quick, Mike?
I
don't love Apollo Kids like that.
What's that?
I don't love Apollo Kids like
that. I was just
of...
about to say, I think those are 2 of the weaker records on this album. I'm not going to say I don't love it like that, but, you know.
In relationship to the rest of I was actually thinking in relationship to the Ray and Ghost collaborations, this one has the least chemistry to me. I feel like they hadn't been recording together for a while when I heard it.
Jordan jumped up like Clyde Drexler, all up in the parrot, nose numb, real as they come, Biggie's Versace, Snow White Rabbit, Hanson's like photographic magic, funeral love, moving when we hug, don't make it a habit. Hit the gym for 2 weeks, my back all chiseled, elbows unique now, meet the new me. Who says that? You know, we just say, you know what, I'm going to work out, man.
Mike, I
hit
be
the gym for 2
swords,
weeks, my back all chiseled.
Mike,
come on, man.
I be swinging swords strictly based on keyboards, unbalanced like elephants and ants on seesaws. I throw raps that attack like the Japs, like Pearl Harbor. MCs be out like bank robbers.
I still got Ghost on. I'm sorry, man. And I love Jizza on Liquid Swords. I hate to fight you on this.
Mike,
that's why I'm pausing, man, because I hate to fight you on this. But
I just said unbalanced like elephants and ants on seesaws. Ghosts don't have nothing like that on Supreme Clientele. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on now.
No, he don't. Not lyrically precise and metaphorically precise at the same time while painting a picture. No, he don't. That's Jizza on Liquid Swords. Like, no, not the Ghost. He's just not Jizza on Liquid Swords.
I don't know, man. I disagree with you on that.
I don't think that's why we're gonna argue.
I don't think that's where the separation is. I think.
Okay, so Mike, I want you to name a record off. I want you to name your 5 best records on Supreme Clientele because I knew you were going to do this.
Man, they change all the time. Off the top,
you can go 7 best records if you want, Mike. You can go 9 best records if you want. It's not going to matter.
We can go more than that. We can go 10 best records.
Let's go 10 best records. Let's
10 best records on Supreme Clientele.
No. And I want you to rate them in order how you have them. Mm-hmm. Like, I want you to rate what you think
the 10
best records.
You were prepared for this debate. I wasn't.
Oh, yeah. I wrote this down because I knew you were going to do this. So I came prepared.
Oh, God. See, you were prepared for this. Let me go ahead and go to the track list right now.
Mike, Wu Banger 101 is weaker than all the Wu-Tang Posse cuts I just named on Liquid Swords.
But you know, it's interesting you say that because I think that as strong as I think Supreme Clientele is, that wasn't as strong as Point, the Wu stuff. I think Supreme Clientele is different in the sense where a lot of those Wu-Tang albums that we have listed have strength in the fact that they had Wu involvement. This one actually had everybody in the clan on there, but it didn't feel like it. And it was like, it was strong because this individual kind of jumped out and showed you he's the best guy in the crew.
I mean, One and We Made It are probably my favorite songs on Supreme Clientele. That's some Ghostface shit. That's not some Wu-Tang shit. So.
I think Ghost was the first Wu-Tang. Is it fair to say as a solo artist, Ghost might have been the first Wu-Tang member to actually have an individual identity outside of Wu-Tang? Where it's like you could hear a track and be like, yeah, that's a Ghostface beat.
No, so I want to speak to something, and because I know we're going to end up talking about, but let's go to this right quick. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this now. No. I'm going to wait.
I'm writing
Just
down my
remind me.
songs. Go ahead and talk what you got to talk.
No, this isn't necessarily true. Part of why the purple tape is so important, Mike, is because, and this is going to seem funny, Wu-Tang had street credibility, has rappers and MCs, not has necessarily street dudes. The purple tape changed that with Ray and Ghost. People don't understand. Enter the Wu-Tang doesn't have a lot of street or drug dealing rhetoric on it. It's almost non-existent. Outside of Can It Be All So Simple with Ray and Ghost. To Cal, none of that. Return to the 36 Chambers, none of that. The street talk doesn't start till Ghost and Ray on the purple tape. So he identified himself on the purple tape with Ray and Ghost. And I'm going to tell a story in a minute about like how big they were lyrically to people, because a lot of people immediately didn't take to the purple tape. It took a couple listens because it was so different even from what it came before. Because To Cal and Return to the 36 Chambers sound like some Wu-Tang shit. It sounds like an extension of Enter the Wu-Tang. The purple tape doesn't sound like that.
And neither
purple
does
tape
Liquor
sounds
Store.
like the growth and development of what happened on Enter the Wu-Tang, not an extension. And so the first take on the purple tape wasn't as epic as people thought. But yeah.
Okay, well, I got my songs, man.
Go ahead, go. Start at number one.
It's got to be in order, right? I'm going Mighty Healthy number one.
What's Mighty Healthy number one?
Yeah, I got Mighty Healthy.
Yep, Fourth Chamber, Mike. Say goodnight.
Fourth Chamber better than Mighty Healthy?
Yes, it is. You know it is.
It's not as cut and dry as
like the fact that Ghost is having this conversation against Fourth Chamber tells you how great Mighty Healthy is, but it's not better. Keep going though.
We made it.
That's great, Mike. Shadowboxing. I knew you were going to do that. I have Fourth Chamber and Shadowboxing waiting for you.
Okay.
You're done with your first two records.
What about one?
That's the problem.
I still got more.
No. You have more. So for one, I would probably hit you with Living in the World Today.
I got one on that.
I would tell you.
And those are very totally different records, man.
Everything Ghost does is different, so it's hard to compare shit to Ghost shit. But I would say Living in the World Today.
No. No.
I mean, I would give that a tie, but I'll let the people decide that.
But if you want to go in that lane and in that chamber, I would go with like Malcolm or something, you know?
No, one for me, one is Ghost's best lyrical performance on Supreme Clientele as a solo artist, and for me, Living in the World Today is just his best solo performance.
Daring Jennings says Mighty Healthy is better. I agree with Darren.
Yeah, Darren's only one person, and we won't be agreeing with Darren. Mike, nobody really thinks Mighty Healthy is better than Fourth Chamber. Like, not in the whole of the sum of things. Like, I can't believe that, actually.
Fourth Chamber's tough. But I do believe one is better than Living in the World Today.
I can give you one. I love one, but I still think Living in the World Today is still comparable. Go ahead.
Well, since you got those out the way, I'm going $150.
That's fine. You can go $150, Mike, because Duel of the Iron Mike's better than $150.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's lyrically and beat-wise better.
It's not.
You got an Old Dirty Bastard on your hook?
No, come on, man.
Okay.
Come on, man.
No,
the way Method Man set that off, I got Redman on the
plus
joint.
the Young Bucks bust, ducking handcuffs, throats get cut, window rush.
That one I'm not giving you.
Out-of-town foes look shook but still pose. We move like real pros through the streets we stroll. Bullet holes laced with windows and 160s. So control the avenues, that's the dream that's old. No, dude.
That's not it. I'm sorry. That's not
and Jizza are better lyrically than everybody on $150, including Ghost with his supercalifragilistic, all that shit that you keep talking that you think is better than what it is, Mike.
The words you talk better be the words you walk. Body you in the bed.
That's the best verse. That's the best verse, but it's not better.
Put your hand up.
Redman's verse on $150 is not better than Deck's verse on Duel of the Iron
Damian Frederick says, I got $150. I think most people got $150, man. Let's just be real.
How many people really even know about Duel of the Iron Mike like that?
I mean, it's a dope record, but it's a reason why people know about $150, man. Method Man came in that bitch, man. Who I'm is the phenom.
Mike, because it's one of the few collab records on Supreme Clientele that actually Wu Banger 101 and $150 are really the only like collab records on there. Everything else is guest appearance.
Y'all done flipped y'all wigs, blacked out the clear, dial for my kid, for my niggas and my badass kids. Freeze.
I'll still take Duel of the Iron Mike.
I'm plotting on the mouse trap about the snatch of teas. I heard y'all niggas about that. Psychotherapy, you bugging. Where the couch at? Woo till they bury me.
Mike,
Come
you're not
on,
still
man.
going. You're not going to win this on the back end anyway,
No.
Mike. Even if you're taking the front, go ahead, keep going.
I got nutmeg.
Nutmeg. Investigative reports next.
I got investigative reports over nutmeg. I'll give you that. Ghostini.
Cold World next.
I got Ghostini on that.
Ghostini's not better than Cold World,
Yeah,
Mike.
it
No,
is.
it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not, Mike.
Hold me down. Hand me my cake. Dusty Baker activate. Fuck your corny debates. I'm like cake or maybe like $10,000 rabbit. The kid poofed up, switch up his accent. Now I'm from Paris. Woo! Frozen elements of gold. Fall from the most high causing me to break the mold. How the fuck was y'all niggas thinking? You think I fell off the ledge? The legendary Ghostini might be dead? Never. Impossible. Pull out black burners like tonsils. 2 gallants hitting if we got to. Busting at y'all niggas daily. Ghostface this, Ghostface that. Ghost Flow crack now is revelation spoken through rap.
It's Mike. No, it's just plain and simple.
It's not. It's not. I'm not gonna concede to that one. Ghostini's
I don't even
believe
you're saying that, Mike.
Mike.
Ghostini's not like that. That's one of the weaker tracks on Supreme Clientele. That's on the back end.
Nah.
That wouldn't like Mike. There's 15 tracks on Supreme Clientele. Ghostini's not in the top 10.
I'm Gucci down, Wally boots, and making hat long for a pound. Ask niggas how I get down. Don't speak much. Deluxe plush. Imagination. Hold a note like Willie Hutch. You might have run into me on the Rikers bus.
What are the people saying? Cold World's a better record than Ghostini. I'm sorry, Mike.
No,
you can rhyme all the rhymes you want to. Cold World's are just a better record beginning to end on every level.
Nah.
He took the Stevie shit from Rocket Love and flipped it. Like, stop that.
Hot like Jamaica. Came through in the Booger Green 68 pacer. Mad paper high as a fuck. What?
Cold World's better record from beginning to end. I don't even know why you brought up Ghostini. Like, no, Mike. No. That's the fan in you coming
Bernard
out.
Bernard Crane says, go, Mike. I agree with Mike. Now, our man says Cold World. So, yeah, you know. I don't know, man. I'm going with Ghostini, man.
No, it's not, Michael.
Wally Boots Jamaica had long for a pound. Ask niggas how I get down. Come on,
Mike,
man.
They telling a whole story on Cold World. Like, come on,
I like
Mike.
Cold World. But Ghost
Mike,
is something
they got
else.
Mike, but D'Angelo did the remix. Like, that song was great like that.
Well, should I done Saturday night? I don't know, man. I ain't even
Saturday
put
night's
Saturday
better
night.
than Ghostini to me.
No,
yeah.
it's not. Ooh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Ghostini's one of the best songs on the whole album, man. He went
No, it's
crazy.
not, Mike. You overrating Ghostini, in my opinion. I got
like,
Ghostini on the back end of the album. I got it somewhere next to Apollo Kids and Shay Shay Lagos.
Nah.
Yeah.
We were asking, man. No disrespect.
You're not gonna, Mike. I can't wait. Mike, I can't wait till
project.
these comments come out and you lose.
Rhyme
this
connects to keep me correct. Hey, yo, I wrote this on Donnie Roof after his funeral on one knee.
Let's go.
Come on, man.
Let's backtrack right quick. So we got Fourth Chamber.
You got Fourth Chamber over Mighty Healthy. We got We Made It, and you went what? Shadowboxing.
Shadowboxing, yeah. So I'm up 2-0 right there.
No, it's 3-3 now. And then I did one.
I can give you one, Mike. I love one.
And then I got $150 over, Duel.
Mike, I might be bugging a little bit. You can have that.
Buck
That's
50
Redman and Meth. No, Redman and Meth and Ghost at a high level on there.
And Cappadonna did his thing too.
Mike, he offbeat, but it's okay.
I love that Kappa verse. All right, Nutmeg.
Offbeat, Mike.
Nutmeg, that got ate up by what was it?
Investigative
reports.
So I
love
3.
investigative reports. And then I got Ghostini over Cold World.
So you got 2, not 3.
No, it's 3-3. Because I got $150, Ghostini.
No, you're right. You got
one.
$150. No, that's fine. What's next, Mike?
Ghostini is fire.
No, it's not. It's not like that.
I don't know. Let's do Saturday night.
That's fine, Mike. Labels.
I like Saturday night more than Labels, but
Saturday night's
Labels.
not better than Labels, Mike. Go to the chat, Mike. Saturday night's not better than Labels. That's what I'm telling you about these records. These records, when you actually start putting them next to each other, he don't got Jizza.
Jacob 6 says, Coop, you bugging. You think you've been right along all along. So cringe. Rapping other people's bars. Everybody could do that.
I mean, Mike's been doing the same thing, but that's
I'm
okay.
doing this. Bernard Crane says Coop's wrong on Ghost Drink though. I don't know. And we got somebody in here that says Wu Bang and 101. Saturday Night and Labels, man. I'll give you Labels. I mean,
Labels is a better record than Saturday Night, Mike.
okay.
I think you know
I'm
that.
fine with that. Um, let's just go Wu Bang and number one. I mean, 101 since somebody mentioned it.
No, that's fine. I kind of figured I was gonna lose that record. You can have Gold off the Jizz's album, Mike. You can have Gold. You can take Wu Banger 101. That's a great record.
You just pick. I'm just picking records.
No,
and then
hold on.
picking...
You want to know if I was picking in order, Mike? If you want to know it, all jokes aside, Mike, the next record I would pick would be Liquid Swords. So we can put Liquid Swords against Wu Banger 101.
I got somebody in here saying that Saturday Night is better. And then somebody else, a man says, Mike, please stop. Labels is a classic. You're right. I put Labels over Saturday Night. That's real.
It
that's
is,
clear.
Mike. Like, that's pretty clear, Mike.
No, that's clear. But it's also clear that, you know what I'm saying, what was next? It was Wu Banger 101. Did I take Gold or what did I take?
No, you can take Liquid Swords. You can take Liquid Swords off my plate. I'm going to keep it fair, like go in order of strength, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So Shay Shay Lagos.
Killer Hills 10304.
I don't know, man. Shay Shay Lagos is it's a record. It's a classic.
What beat is better? What rhyme is better? Because it's about beats and
What's
rhymes.
the
What
better
Tribe Called
song?
Quest called
I
the album?
thought you
Beat,
just
rhymes,
said
and life.
I thought you just
Like, that's what I'm saying. Killer Hills 10304 is beats, rhymes, and life. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were saying better song.
Yeah, Killer Hills 10304 is a better song than Shay Shay Lagos, Mike. It is.
I disagree with that.
On what level is Shay Shay Lagos better? Is it better lyrically? No. Is the beat
it's
better?
not
No.
for that. It's just
It's a bigger hit record. That doesn't necessarily make it better. That's like saying Big Papa's better than Everyday Struggle. No, it's not. It's not a better record.
That's an interesting comparison.
Interesting comparison, because that's kind of what we're doing
again,
when we're doing that. We're taking a record.
But let's keep it real. If
record.
We had to rank a song, though, on an all-time songs list, we would have to put Big Papa over Everyday Struggle.
Mike, but if we were ranking Biggie songs, we would rank Everyday Struggle higher than Big Papa.
I don't know if we would.
If we were ranking the strength of his songs, yeah, I would like to think so, because that's one of his strongest records.
It is
it's one of the strongest records on Ready to Die. That's what I'm saying. Shay Shay Lagos is a dope record. It's a great classic single. It ain't fucking with Killer Hills 10304.
What about Malcolm?
I love Malcolm. I don't have anything for Malcolm. I would actually go Swordsman. Swordsman would be my next one.
Nah, we got that one.
Yeah, you got Malcolm. Even though I love Swordsman, the lyrics on there are some of Jizz's best shit. That's one of his best performances solo on there too.
So it looks like it's 5-5, and so
I told you it's comparable.
As a
Mike.
tiebreaker, I'm gonna put Stay True out there.
You're gonna go Stay True?
I mean, I got a lot to choose from, so you know. I know you're running low.
Well, that's only because there's less songs to choose from. That's like you and the whole KRS thing talking about I'm declined. Well, nigga, I only got 13 songs to choose from. You got 15, so you have an advantage.
I could go Apollo Kids. I could go The Grain. I could go, Stay
I'm surprised
True.
you didn't go The Grain. You didn't like The Grain?
I love The Grain.
You were wise for choosing Nutmeg over The Grain. Nutmeg is brilliant.
I love Nutmeg. That's a great record. But
no, Mike, I'm gonna go. I Got Your Back.
What's that? I Got Your Back? Nah, I think I win now.
Because I'm not going to use the Killer Priest track. Because, you know what I'm saying? Basic instructions
before
leaving Earth.
It's on
Mike, if we're talking about strength of record, then I'm using Bible.
Yeah,
I'm using Bible.
Record. Yeah, that's one of the strongest records on there, actually. So, SD21 says Supreme Clientele. SD21 says Supreme Clientele got extra points because Wu had fallen off a bit after Forever. It's not as good as the first wave of solos. That's interesting. That's an interesting point because you did bring up the fact that Liquid Swords was coming in that Only Built for Cuban Linx rhythm, and and that's a fair point. And the fact that Ghost was kind of fighting against a lot of different elements, and the fact that the group was in a different place. I think Ghost had been locked up for a second or whatever too.
Yep, Ghost had been locked up and was having health issues.
Yeah, so to come out and make that after having to follow up Iron Man 2 because everybody else in the clan at that point hadn't really successfully followed up their, first round of Wu-Tang solo efforts. So it's a lot of elements in there, and to kind of put the clan on his back and the time that he did it, I will give Supreme Clientele a lot of points for that.
So, but Liquid Swords deserves the same kind of points just for a different reason, because I think people forget Liquid Swords is the album where everybody realized, no, this is the best rap crew ever. What
I agree.
Supreme Clientele was solidify and remind what Liquid Swords validated. Everything after Liquid Swords was icing on the cake because it went into the Wu-Tang, Tical, Return, Cuban Links, and then Liquid Swords. When Liquid Swords dropped, it was like, no, there's nobody messing with these guys like in the history of rap. Supreme Clientele is the reminder of what Liquid Swords provided. Because, Mike, there's nothing like that run of Return to the 36 Chambers, to the Purple Tape, to Liquid Swords. Iron Man was like some classic icing on the cake type of shit where it's like, well, we knew could nobody fuck with him, and here's a further reminder.
No,
So
for
Ghost,
real.
so Ghost is
It was
actually his two
solidified.
real classic albums are the reminder pieces, but Liquid Swords was a statement because, and that's what I mean, the Wu-Tang shit on there. It was like, it was a carryover from the Purple Tape, but it wasn't on some street shit. It got back to their roots on some rap shit. It's like, no, these dudes can jump in any element and survive it.
And you know what?
Like
I
they
will
can
give
jump
you
in Raid
credit.
and Ghost Chamber, which is the streets, and it's gonna be epic. They can jump in that super lyrical, old school Rock M Nas style type chamber and Liquid Swords. Oh, and they gonna do that too. And so that was what made it a moment too.
I'll give you credit, man. Like, usually the debate is Liquid Swords are only built for Cuban links. So I would say a vast majority of people would have Liquid Swords over Supreme Clientele. I myself, maybe I'm biased in that sense, but that was when Ghost kind of became
That's
as
when
an
Ghost becomes
individual on my radar personally with
solo
Supreme
icon.
Clientele.
Ghost is created on Supreme Clientele. That's
Definitely.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because the way Ghost rapping on Iron Man, oh, the dude that you hear on Supreme Clientele, that's not the same guy. Like, he's 10 times better, which is saying a lot because he's pretty damn great on Iron Man. But he's 10 times better on Clientele. Liquid Swords is just a moment. And I think it's one of the finest moments in hip hop that kind of goes understated because of the Purple Tape.
It said in here in the chat, I think it's Man, I hate to mispronounce your name. Jizza and Deck are the best lyrically in the Wu.
Yes.
You
Yes.
agree with that? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Derek Jennings
speaking, yes.
says Pretty Tony was dope. It was, man. I really love the Pretty Tony LP. But again, I think I left it off of this list because of the lack of involvement of Wu-Tang. Chandler says Iron Man was the second part of Only Built for Cuban Links, as if it was a double disc.
No, it's totally different. It's a whole different chamber. Outside, I mean, like if you listen to Iron Man and listen to Purple Tape, the only time they really on their Purple Tape shit is actually on 260. 260 is a Purple Tape shit. Like they on their crime shit, but like the rest of that shit is just different. They getting real fly with it. Like they're trying to show you how colorful and dazzling they are with the rhyme displays on Iron Man, and they're doing it well.
You know
So
what?
it's like,
I want to
there's
ask
no-
you this.
yeah.
Not to interrupt, man. I want to ask you, why do you have the 36 Chambers into the Wu-Tang above Liquid Swords? I mean, you spoke highly of Liquid Swords.
Mike, you can't do nothing with the haymakers on Into the Wu-Tang. I think the only other album that has the gravity of songs that just hit you on the level that they hit you, Mike. Like, I mean, we kind of spoke why Enter the Wu-Tang is better, Mike. Their B-sides became classic singles. The B-sides are classic singles, Mike. Like Chess Boxing, your B-side. Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With is a B-side. Method Man is a B-side. It's a B-side. So that means there's an A-side, which means you got 6 classic records on your album already, apparently, because those are your 3 B-sides that got released, right?
Yes. Here's the
So you
track
got Cream,
list.
Can It All Be So Simple, and Protect Your Neck. Those are 6 classic rap songs, Mike. Those are 6 of the greatest 100 rap songs ever.
Well,
on one album.
The album starts off with Bring the Ruckus,
Bring the
Shame
Ruckus.
on a Nigga, Clan in the Front,
Right.
Wu-Tang 7th Chamber, Can It All Be So Simple, The Mystery of Chess Boxing, Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With, Cream, Method Man, Protect Your Neck, Tears, 7th Chamber Part 2, and the conclusion. So, yeah,
It's a tour de force of an album, Mike. It's one
we've
of the
never
best
seen
rap
anything
albums
like
ever.
it at that point.
Hmm?
We've never seen anything like it at that point with this many guys who call themselves one group being this strong individually coming together to put together such strong material on one effort.
Mike, part of the reason why Method Man and Old Dirty Bastard became stars in the crew so early is because you could identify Method Man because of the song Method Man and because of how Old Dirty Bastard rap. Because you spent the first 3 months that you were listening to the album trying to figure out who the fuck everybody was.
Yeah.
You had never, as a hip hop listener, you had never even been charged with the task of trying to figure out who everybody was.
Yeah, and nobody was on the cover, so it wasn't like you could
Nobody was
kind
on the
of,
cover. They
yeah,
ain't ski masks.
yeah. So it wasn't like, and just the mystery of it all, and how
Right.
hardcore it was, and just everything that it ushered in. I know we talk about Griselda a lot, and the fact that Mobb Deep's the Infamous was kind of like the precursor of a lot of things they're doing, but Into the 36, that ushered in a whole new era.
Mike, so people
Period.
always feel like Nas and Big bought the East Coast back. And no, they didn't.
No.
Wu-Tang bought the East Coast back with Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers. They the ones that bought the East Coast back. Because they bought the focus back to rhymes and skills with that album, because you had never heard a collective of MCs so entertaining, so skillful, so intelligent, so articulate. It was like pulling something out of the bag with every song, Mike. Like you bring up Seventh Chamber when you said that, it's like, yeah, that's the weakest song on that album. That's saying a lot.
It's crazy, man. And kind of like what we were saying with Bone Thugs too. Like they stuck to their guns and they had some of the biggest singles for it. Cream is not something that you would say, "Yo, this is gonna be a real big hit."
None
I
of
mean,
those songs
sonically,
say
you don't
that.
hear that song and be like, "Yeah, this is gonna be a classic," but it
But
was.
but here's the thing about it, and that's the thing. Even with all those songs, when you first heard them, like this album came out around the time I was moving to Charlotte from Atlanta, and like I remember it well because my cousins were playing it everywhere when I moved up there. But it was one of those records that every song on there felt great, but you didn't know how great it was because of how new and innovative they were. That's what I mean. It might be the most innovative rap album ever. You didn't even know how to properly contextualize what they were doing on that first rap album, rapping together like that. It had never really been done.
You know
Like
the
Mike, the
the
symphony was such a moment because it was like, oh, you got four MCs on one track together, self-destruction, all that other stuff. They essentially took that format
it made a
and
whole
ran
album.
with it.
Yeah. The fact that RZA did everything on this album, it's like a moment that we won't get back. I mean,
Hey,
that's never gonna happen again.
right. Hey, Mike, we got to wrap this up. I got to go.
No, no, that's cool. We are running kind of long. All right, so our number one is going to be Only Built for Cuban Links. So we
I
both
think
agree
that's
on
pretty.
that. I want to hear your perspective on why that's number one.
I mean, Mike, I think it's the third best rap album ever. I mean, lyrically,
Yeah,
beat wise, concept wise, guest appearance wise, there's no flaws or cracks with this album.
yeah.
It's one of the few albums that I feel like is a end to end player with no flaws. And the only two albums I have above it are the only two albums that I feel like are end to end players that feel more flawless, which is Illmatic and Aquemini. I have the Purple Tape as a hip hop classic of the highest order.
I
Mike,
think
I have it above Paid in Full and Doggy Style and
to
Reasonable Doubt
piggyback off of
and
that, I
Ready to
think
Die.
everybody's
Yeah,
features on there were top notch. I think that they brought the
everybody.
best out of everybody on that record. Method Man got on there, whether it were a hook, whether it were a verse, he went in. Same thing with RZA, and obviously RZA's production. Obviously Nas's appearance on shit.
Verbal
Verbal
Intercourse.
Intercourse. I was sitting here thinking lyrical intercourse. Verbal Intercourse and Master Killer's appearance.
On Glaciers of Ice.
Glaciers of Ice is epic.
Cappadonna on Ice Water. Deck
Cappadonna on
and,
Ice Water.
Deck and Jizza on Guillotine.
Yeah, man, Deck and Jizz on Guillotine is crazy. I think Guillotine is one of those songs where it's like, you don't know who has the best verse.
Mike, actually, can I say something right quick?
Uh-huh.
That's the Wu-Tang posse cut. Of all the posse cuts, that's
Yeah.
the posse cut because it's the one, even after all these years, we're still arguing about who has the best verse on there.
I mean, Poisonous Paragraph smashed the phonograph in half. That is a great
Mike,
start.
but the
But I
Jizza,
think
the
the
nigga don't
Jizza's.
get mad. I got mad styles of my own, and it's shown when my hands grip the chrome microphone.
I like Jizza's verse the best, actually, personally.
Mike, in high school, I had a lot of cats tell me because I thought Dex verse was the best. A lot of the older G's used to be like, nah, Jizza actually got him on that. And that ain't even counting Ray and Ghost verse, which is crazy. They playing co-stars on the song on their album.
And then we're talking about Incarcerated Scarfaces. Then you got Ice Cream in this mix.
I'm about to say, Mike, and that's
So
not
the
counting the
hits are there.
MVP because Method Man is the co-star MVP of this album.
Yeah. So the
Ice
hits are there.
Cream, Wu Gambino's, his verse on Wu Gambino's, this album, that was the over the top moment because let's go in order of the album. Ice Cream is track 15.
Yeah.
Wu Gambino's is track 16. When Meth pops up at the end of the album, at the end, Mike, after you will know that it's already a classic and he does that, it's like over the top. It's like, this is some of the best shit I ever heard.
Yeah.
He's the over the top moment on the Purple Tape. When he comes in on Ice Cream, when you hear it for the first time, not the video, because that's the third single, Mike. But when you hear Ice Cream for the first time, and then you go into Wu Gambino's, you like, man, good night.
Okay, so we got that as number one. You know what? I'm before we get up out of here, I want to actually go in and I guess let everybody know that I had Iron Man at 6 and Wu-Tang Forever at 5. I'm switching that for Iron Man at 5 and Wu-Tang Forever at 6. And I think you said you were switching around Old Dirty Bastards, Dirty version. Where were you putting that? You were putting that ahead of Only Built for Cuban Links 2 or Wu-Tang Forever?
Got to bump that up above the Purple Tape too.
Okay,
gotta
cool.
Bump that up.
So yeah, and you know what? I'm standing firm on my Supreme Clientele pick over Liquid Swords, but I get it.
No, we're gonna have to do a Liquid Sword Supreme Clientele post. That's supposed to be happen.
we are, man. Because again, I didn't come totally prepared for that specific debate, but you tried to warn me. I didn't know you were gonna have 10 songs.
No. I told you yesterday that you need to get ready. But I'll tell you what, too, Mike. And here's how high some other people, even outside of me, think of Liquid Swords. I know some heads that prefer Liquid Swords over the Purple Tape because they feel like the Purple Tape is too skit heavy, and Liquid Swords is the real unadulterated hip hop that you get out of Wu-Tang from the solo albums.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna listen to our top 5 today. So, all right. Well, not sure what's coming out Friday, but you know we should be back on Friday to talk about something. So, had some great shows the past couple of days, and man, this was a great conversation. Wu-Tang Wednesday, and we are out.
Wu-Tang.